They've been sitting on the deposition tapes of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, and it's obvious why. Republicans are panicking, trying to control the story, and the timing is no accident. They want to drop these videos strategically, hoping everyone will buy the narrative that somehow Donald Trump has been fully exonerated, that the depositions prove he did nothing wrong. But that's not what the records show. The public deserves to see every word, every answer, every hesitation. Instead, we're being served a carefully crafted message. Trump is untouchable. The Clintons are the villains, and anyone questioning it is partisan. Let's be clear. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton both requested a public deposition because they understood transparency matters. They wanted the world to hear their answers directly. But MAGA Republicans, James Comer, Nancy Mace, and the rest blocked that. They wanted private briefings, media spin, and a cover-up ready to roll the moment the depositions ended. And now, they claim Trump is fully cleared, while ignoring the overwhelming evidence from flight logs, DOJ files, and survivor statements. Today, we break through the spin and show the real story. Here's where the narrative starts to crumble. MAGA Republicans are claiming survivors have exonerated Trump, yet there's no evidence anyone has said that. Nancy Mace, James Comer, Anna Paulina Luna, they're all spinning talking points, insisting Trump is fully cleared, while conveniently ignoring what the files actually show. Survivors never said Trump is exonerated. The documents, the flight logs, the FBI references, they don't magically vanish because Republicans want a soundbite. And let's talk about the deposition itself. Bill Clinton testified about a conversation he had with Trump back in 2002-2003. He said Trump told him Epstein was a good guy and that they had a falling out over a business deal, period. That's it. No first-hand knowledge of criminal activity, no admissions, nothing absolving or condemning Trump. But Republicans are turning that into a headline. Clinton clears Trump. It's pure propaganda. Meanwhile, they emphasize Clinton's plane usage, acting as if Trump never flew with Epstein. That's false. Flight logs show Trump on Epstein's jet multiple times, far more than Clinton. Yet Republicans ignore those facts while aggressively framing the narrative. The message is clear. Spin the deposition, mischaracterize quotes, and manufacture evidence of Trump exoneration. This is how the MAGA media machine works. Take selective facts, amplify them, and pretend they represent the full truth. But anyone paying attention can see it. The real story is in the documents, in the logs, in the unanswered questions Republicans refuse to address. And that's exactly what we're going to dissect next. Now let's get into the hard facts the MAGA spin can't ignore. Republicans love to talk about Bill Clinton's trips on Epstein's jet, acting like he's the only one connected. But flight logs tell a very different story. Donald Trump was on Epstein's plane multiple times in the 1990s, at least 8 documented flights, and likely more. Clinton pales in comparison. Yet in committee press conferences, Republicans pretend it's all about Clinton, never mentioning Trump's repeated presence. Why? Because acknowledging it would ruin the narrative that Trump is exonerated. Flight logs aren't opinions. They're records, and they directly contradict every attempt to paint Trump as a bystander. Epstein was on Trump's plane, Trump was on Epstein's plane, and yet the story gets rewritten in real time by those desperate to protect him. Meanwhile, James Comer and Nancy Mace claim they've seen evidence Trump is cleared. But what evidence? The public files, the DOJ documents, the FBI 302s, they tell a different story, full of references to Trump that aren't addressed. Ignoring that is not journalism, it's spin. This is exactly how MAGA Republicans manipulate the narrative. Highlight Clinton, erase Trump, claim vindication. But the truth is written in the logs, and anyone reading them knows it. Here's where the narrative gets truly absurd. James Comer, Anna Paulina Luna, Nancy Mace, they all insist Trump has been exonerated by the Epstein files, by survivors, by the depositions. But if you actually look at the facts, it's impossible to reach that conclusion. No survivor has said Trump is cleared. No deposition absolves him of wrongdoing. Yet MAGA Republicans present it like a settled fact, a truth the public just hasn't been told. Let's break it down. Comer claims, "From all the evidence I've seen, Trump has been exonerated for a long time." Really? What evidence? We've all seen the DOJ files, the flight logs, and the FBI 302 statements, thousands of references to Trump, some unproduced, some alleging misconduct. Ignoring them doesn't erase them. Calling it exoneration is political theater, plain and simple. Anna Paulina Luna jumps in, echoing the same line. Survivors have cleared Trump. That's just a trope. It's not reality. And Republicans use this claim to justify avoiding direct questioning of Trump in the deposition, to dismiss mountains of evidence, and to shape a narrative for media consumption. It's classic MAGA strategy. Pick and choose, amplify selectively, and pretend the rest doesn't exist. Meanwhile, the public is left with sound bites, spin, and talking points. But if you read the logs, the depositions, the DOJ files, you see contradictions, unanswered questions, and glaring omissions. There is no official exoneration. There is only a manufactured story designed to protect one man and gaslight the public. And we're going to keep peeling back those layers. Let's dive into the files Republicans want you to ignore. The DOJ has released millions of pages from the Epstein investigation, and yes, Trump is mentioned thousands of times. Flight logs, witness statements, internal communications, FBI 302s, they all reference him. Yet MAGA Republicans act like these documents never existed, claiming Trump is exonerated. That's gaslighting. Here's the reality. Many of the files are redacted, unproduced, or flagged as unverified. The DOJ warns that some allegations may be false or incomplete. But here's the key. Ignoring these documents does not equal innocence. Comer and other Republicans want to present a curated version where selective excerpts prove Trump did nothing wrong. That's not evidence. It's a narrative. The files also highlight Epstein's connections to Trump properties, repeated jet travel, and ongoing questions that have never been fully addressed. But the committee refuses to publicly explore those references, citing political convenience. Meanwhile, spin outlets trumpet Trump's exoneration, leaving the public believing the story is settled. We're not buying it. Reading the DOJ files shows contradictions, gaps, and unanswered questions. Selective reading doesn't erase references, it doesn't absolve responsibility. And that's exactly why the narrative Republicans are selling is so dangerous. It misleads, it distracts, and it protects one man while burying the truth. And now, let's talk about the statements Trump himself made. Audio recordings that can't be ignored. Trump bragged about grabbing women using the infamous P word, dismissing it as locker room talk. That's not just crude, it's a pattern. He admitted owning beauty pageants and inspecting contestants in their changing rooms, literally using his position to access naked minors. Republicans brushed this aside, calling it locker room talk, but anyone listening knows the difference. Then, there's the civil liability. A federal jury found Trump liable for sexual assault and defamation in a separate case, yet MAGA media acts like it never happened, spinning it as irrelevant. They want you to believe this proves nothing, that somehow he is innocent in the Epstein files. That's not legal reasoning, that's narrative control. Every soundbite, every clip, every selective quote they throw at the public is part of the same strategy. Erase the evidence, amplify the spin, and protect Trump from scrutiny. But the truth is loud, and it's documented. Audio recordings, flight logs, civil verdicts, they all exist, and ignoring them doesn't change the facts. The MAGA machine wants the public to believe Trump is untouchable, but when you connect the dots, the story is far more complicated and far more troubling. Now let's get into the specifics of what Bill Clinton actually said in the deposition. He referenced a conversation with Trump in 2002-2003, where Trump described Epstein as a good guy, but admitted they had a falling out over a real estate deal. That's it. No admission of criminal activity, no absolution, just a business dispute. Yet MAGA Republicans spin it as if Clinton personally vouched for Trump's innocence. Here's the real story. The falling out stemmed from Trump outbidding Epstein on a property, reportedly the Abe Gosman mansion, which Trump later sold for a massive profit. Epstein was furious, but that's strictly business, not proof of criminal conduct. Republicans conveniently omit this context, twisting a mundane real estate disagreement into Clinton clears Trump. It's classic narrative manipulation. Take a single line, detach it from context, and present it as vindication. But anyone reading the deposition transcript knows that Trump was never exonerated in the legal sense. It's spin, pure and simple. And that's exactly why transparency matters. So the public sees the deposition in full, not a politically filtered version. Now let's talk about the media and the Republican spin machine. Fallon, Langworthy, and other MAGA operatives are masters of selective storytelling. They claim the evidence shows Trump had nothing to do with Epstein, while ignoring the flight logs, FBI 302s, and witness statements that repeatedly reference him. Every time Bill Clinton mentions a conversation with Trump, Republicans twist it into a headline, Trump cleared. But that's not what the deposition says. It's political spin. Langworthy even admitted that Clinton and Trump had a falling out over a business deal, yet Fallon spins it as no connection. You see the pattern. Take inconvenient facts, distort them, and package them as proof of innocence. Anna Paulina Luna jumps in, suggesting Epstein was a foreign intelligence asset and portraying Trump as a non-target. That's speculation, not exoneration. The MAGA narrative is simple. erase inconvenient truths, amplify talking points, and protect Trump from scrutiny. They control soundbites, distort context, and mislead the public. Anyone reading the deposition, reviewing flight logs, or checking DOJ files sees a completely different story. Transparency is critical, but Republicans refuse it. They want a sanitized version, one that protects Trump while pretending the public has the full picture. And now we hit the latest development. Trump endorsing Don Huffines, the man who bought Epstein's Zorro Ranch in 2023. This isn't just any property. The Zorro Ranch was a central location for Epstein's sex trafficking operations. Some reports even suggest bodies may have been buried there. Yet Trump publicly endorses the man, transforming it into a Christian retreat. Huffines, a Texas state senator and MAGA loyalist, purchased the ranch and is now turning it into a children's Christian revival center. On the surface, it sounds like a wholesome story, but consider the optics. Trump's endorsement, the family connections, and the history of the property. His son now works in a senior position in Trump's circle after Huffines bought the ranch. That's a direct link. This endorsement isn't accidental. It's strategic, symbolic, and completely aligned with MAGA optics. Trump continues to surround himself with allies tied to Epstein's properties while simultaneously claiming innocence in public hearings. And the media? Silent, ignoring the obvious contradictions, the connections, and the implications. The Trump narrative remains consistent: spin, control, protect, and distract. Every action reinforces loyalty, deflects scrutiny, and shields him from accountability. But the public doesn't have to buy it. When you follow the property, the endorsements, and the timeline, the story becomes clearer and far more disturbing. So here's the truth. Trump's story isn't as clean as MAGA Republicans want you to believe. Flight logs, DOJ files, depositions, civil liabilities, they all exist, and ignoring them doesn't make him innocent. Spin, sound bites, and selective clips don't change the facts. If you want the full picture, the unfiltered truth, you've got to pay attention. We're breaking down every detail, exposing the manipulation, and showing you what the media won't. Hit subscribe, join our community, and don't let them control the narrative. And if you want a little personal reset while digesting all this, check out Lollipop. High fiber, low sugar soda that actually tastes like soda. Just a small reminder that taking care of yourself doesn't have to be boring. Links are in the description. Together, we cut through the spin, expose the facts, and keep the truth alive. Let's hit 6 million subscribers and grow this community, because the American people deserve real reporting, not filtered narratives.